is that you have been living or having, or that you have had control or possession of the property without disturbance. And to show that, well, sometimes know that you have to get the property surveyed. If you're not, by law, the surveyor has to stop. And if that is the case, you have to take the matter to court because the surveyor cannot proceed. So you can very well have, or you can very well have been living on the property for 20, 30 years without any disturbance, completely at peace. And we know how some Jamaicans are. A lot of us love contention and we react. So that person probably only decided to object once they saw your surveyor. But the reality is the surveyor can't go ahead. So if someone objects to your survey and they're not allowing you to go ahead, you have to take the matter to court for the judge to decide. And usually if you can show that this person is just creating a disturbance, yes, you've been there for 20, 30 years undisturbed, the court can issue an injunction or a stop order preventing or prohibiting this person from molesting you, from disturbing the surveyor, and the court will then order the surveyor to go ahead
Find out
to have the
what's
matter
the real
heard
story.
to see who is legally entitled to the property. You think I can get in another quick message before
Hello?
the witnesses, it's valid
Okay.
in two witnesses. So you don't need to name an executor.
Yes, I saw that.
In
I
fact,
saw
you can
that.
have a will statement that's the person who's making
Yeah,
the
but
will,
my questions would
as
be
long as that
based
person
on
signs the
the
will.
so
So they can't sign the will, put it down, and then go down the road and give it to someone to
yeah, I mean,
sign, and then give it to
there's
someone else to sign
I,
on
I
the same place
and
and
I'm not
sign
a
at the
a
same
trained
time.
journalist anyway,
Again, remember to
but
call in live on air
I'm more of a
876
media
923
practitioner. But
That's
uh,
223
I
41135.
I can
Text
only
and
ask
WhatsApp line
what the individual is prepared to answer.
881 You may send us an email at
But
gloria
to
at
actually go through the questions, you realize that
landsolutions.ja.com.
I'm
And to
technically
call the
speaking,
law
I'm
office
on
of
air
Law
now,
Finney
not
and Company,
live.
the
I'm
numbers are
there's a
876
feature going on now, but
908 1950 and 876 908 3518. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The
ba-
time is now
3 o'clock.
oh, I'm sorry about that. But I thought we had an understanding already that it was mm, oh, I see what you mean. hmm I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, well, there's a choice. I I just gave you that window anywhere between 3:30 and 5. So whatever time is most convenient for him between 3:30 and 5, we'll make way for him. All right. If he just wants it to be one segment, we'll make it one segment, which is a segment is 12 minutes. Hmm. No, no, no. I mean, I'll work with the within the confines of the ministry. So whatever the areas are, yeah, exactly. So you don't want to milk all of it, you know. Right, right. Okay, sure. Thanks. Okay. You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the and you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 8769214. The website is landsolutionsja.com, landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up at the offices of Brown, Findlay and Company. Those numbers to call 876-908-1950 or 876. Know that every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., a lawyer is on duty at the Ocho Rios offices of Brown, Findlay and Company. Let's take you back to attorney at law, Calicia Findlay.
Thank you, Dervan. Continuing with our WhatsApp messages. If the government is holding a lien against your property on a registered title, does that mean that your right is guaranteed? Government lien exists? Is it necessary of the property current? Does the lien save you if you walk away for more than 12 years? And this person says they're a long time listener. Thank you so much for listening. This is an excellent question. So in essence, the person is asking, if the government has a lien on your property and you walked away for 12 years, is your right to the property still guaranteed? And I would say no, it is not. Mortgage on a property, the owner on the title, the paper owner, disappears, to be found, someone takes up possession of the property, and they are then able to apply for title in their name. So the same principle would apply, whether it's a mortgage with a financial institution or whether the government has some type of lien on your property. What counts is possession. It really doesn't matter what's on the title. What counts is possession and the time. If you can show all that you need to show, and the law is very strict about that. There have been instances where people have bought property, spent a lot of money, millions and millions of dollars. Monies have exchanged hands. It's sad, but it's true. Only to be confronted by someone who has been squatting on the property for years. The matter ends up in court and the judge says, I'm sorry, yes, you paid your $30-40 million for this property, but this person has been living on the property for all these years. They're entitled to claim it over you. It is astonishing, but it is the law. There was a case like that a couple of years ago in St. Catherine, I recall. A big piece of property. Someone bought it. Turned out there was that shorted, but in that case, the squatters were on a section of it. Luckily for that person, they were occupying the entire portion. So the court ordered that the squatters were entitled to the portion they were on. But it stands to reason, though, that if the squatters were occupying all of it, then it seems the court would have ruled that they would be entitled to everything. So it seems insulting, maybe, or it may seem like common sense for me to say, make sure you inspect a property before you buy it, but I have to say it because it has happened where persons buy property and for whatever reason, they only find out that the property is occupied after the fact. I know there have been instances where the property may be massive, and persons may be hiding. So, sometimes, just like when a landlord is trying to find a tenant to serve them notice, every time they go to the property, the tenant is nowhere to be found. I know sometimes that can happen with others, where you go to the property and the property is empty, it's unoccupied, but on the whole, someone is actually living there or farming it or something. So if you're interested in buying property, especially if it's a big, if it's wooded, try and get it cleared, visit it frequently. Don't just go there, go there at nighttime or during the daytime to see what is happening, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you spend your hard-earned money only to hear that this person has been there for 12 years or more, so they're entitled to a portion of the land or all of the land. The law is very, and yes, it's unfair. You don't have to call me or message me and tell me that the law is unfair. I know sometimes it can be, especially against paper owners, but the fact remains that is what the law says. Is it legal for someone to say in an application for title that they have a house overturning your application, or worse, if it has been issued and it turns out you lied on your application, then your title can be cancelled, and I think you can also face criminal penalties. So say you're farming, don't say that you're living there or you have a 10-bedroom house. Say exactly what you're livable. By you saying you have a house there as opposed to you're just farming it there. Possession is possession. It doesn't matter the type of possession. It doesn't matter if it's bushes or you just have one goat there. What counts is possession. Again, the type of possession doesn't matter. You don't want what counts is possession. Again, the type of possession doesn't matter. You don't want to overstate your case and then, want or lose all, end up winning and going to prison. So be truthful in your application. My grandfather allowed someone to build on a piece of a person sold it without any papers over 13 years ago. Can the grandchildren reclaim it? No. Again, just because you're related to someone who owns property or owned property no matter how long ago, you can't just go in and you're not entitled to just go in and claim it. You just go back to the message. So the grandfather sold it to someone, and then the grandfather allowed someone to build on it, and the daughter of that person sold it without any papers over 30 years ago. Too much time would have passed. It would have changed hands, and you can't just go in and reclaim it. You wouldn't have any right to it to begin with, not because you're a grandchild. And land is not something you can just go and reclaim. You leave a book with someone for safekeeping and you just go and take it back. That's simple enough. Land is not like that. I've had situations where sale agreement was signed, seller wants to change his mind in the middle of the transaction, or the transaction has been completed and they decide, I want back my property. It doesn't work like that. Once you're under contract, it is almost always too late. Once the transfer has been effected, you can't just go in and reclaim property. Let us say you have sold property and you decide you want it back. The only way you can get it back is if the purchaser agrees to resell it to you. So in this case, you would now become the buyer. And they can sell it to you for whatever price they want. And I find that this happens when people enter these transactions without legal advice. So someone will have a nice piece of land in the country. Someone approaches them and say, hey, sell me a piece of your land. They sell it to them, or they start the process, they sell it to them, let's say for 500,000. If someone else approaches them and they say, I want to buy this land from you for $1 million, of course, the $1 million is going to be more attractive than the $500,000. So guess what? You are already under contract for $500,000. You can't just jump out of a contract unless the purchaser allows you. Once you try to leave or to exit that contract, you are now in breach. And that is something the law is very strict about. So even if, let's say your land is actually valued at $10 million and you did not know. It's valued at $10 million. You enter a contract to sell it for $500,000. Of course, you are losing money. But guess what? A contract is a contract. You can't go before the court and say, well, Your Honor, I didn't know, I didn't know it was valued at $10 million. I didn't do my research. I'm only now finding out about the value. So for me to sell it at $500,000 is unfair. Perhaps it's unfair to you. More so, it is probably because you should have valuation. So you absolutely can't come out of it because you know realizing and it's my piece of land. The first thing is to tell you to all of it. Selling a port, you're going to need subdivision and talk about too many people because they think, oh, they can just go and sell a piece of the land. You can't. You have an approval. Get your surveyor to come in, prepare the plans, and apply to the parish council for subdivision approval. Please, land solution.
The NWC candidate call NWC. The time by the NWC is 3:15.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr., agricultural sector, and the role we all play with its development. That's a morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM. On Power 106 FM.
It's the final segment of Land Solutions for today. And here's your opportunity to get in those questions. Those who call or the next segment, well, this is the final segment. And here's your opportunity, your questions before today's show ends. The numbers to call: Land Solutions, 876 922 4113 to 5. 876 922 4113 to 5. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876. The WhatsApp number, 876 881 5254. 876 881 5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. A lawyer is on duty at that office every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. For the final segment in this afternoon's edition of Land Solutions, here's attorney at law, Calicia Findlay.
Thank you, Dervan. Continuing with our messages, someone wants to know what does vacant on possession mean? Vacant on possession is a term you will see in an agreement for sale. And it means that when the sale is finished, the property, whether it's land or a house, should be vacant, meaning no one should be living there or it should not be occupied. So you sold with an occupant or with a tenant, it would usually say something to the effect of subject to existing tenancies or subject to existing occupancy. More often than not, when people are buying property, they want it to live in, so they want it to be vacant. So ensure that you, of course, seek legal representation, and if you don't want anyone to be living there, ensure it says vacant on possession. Many people don't know.
Calicia, sorry, if you could pause for a moment. We have a caller online for you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Miss Findlay. Good afternoon, Dervan.
Good
How may
afternoon.
I help?
I can't use this phone to call radio much because it cut it off every 5 minutes. It said can't hold. Anyway, listening to you every Monday evening, you see?
Thank you.
I keep, land solution is something I send people to listen to. Because based on some calls I get on some situations I deal with, me have a headache a while ago, listening to you, Because a vast number of Jamaican people don't know that kind of information you're putting over. And
Yes,
I think I asked her if they can produce a booklet like, even if people have to buy them.
Okay, that's something we can look into.
I said it to Miss Brown already long ago. If you could produce a little booklet with land solution with those kind of things you're saying.
Okay,
Even church people could discuss them,
Yes, and we also have some of the information on our website, Land Solution.
Oh, come on, a lot of them.
But that's something we will look into. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yes, man, because I get a date based on some calls and some situations I may not have to deal with. I'll keep on sending them to Land Solution.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, man, thank you so much. We appreciate it. After this message, I was explaining what is the meaning of vacant on possession. And again, it's where you see the terminal sale agreement, and it means the property will be empty when the sale is finished, as opposed to subject to existing tenancy or subject to existing occupancy, meaning you're taking it with the occupants in the property. Many people don't realize that by law, you are not supposed to give a tenant notice because you are selling the property. The Rent Restriction Act really provides for two reasons why you can give a person notice to leave the property. Either that you want it for your own use and occupation, or you want the property for repair. So really those are the only two reasons that should go in a notice to quit. If you are and it's occupied by a tenant, they stay longer than they should. Mm-hmm. The sale may end up being finished and the tenant is still there. You can't move into the property. So for those of you who are selling property, if the sale is finished and the sale agreement says vacant on possession, the purchaser can sue you. One, for breach of contract, and they can sue you for money, for damages. So let us say that they have to start making their mortgage payment. It's unfair for them to be making their mortgage payments and they cannot move into the property because the tenant is still living there. So please be very careful. If you can't guarantee vacant possession, leave it subject to existing tenancy, or perhaps you the purchaser can come very careful. Can a bank order you to fix a breach on your house? They can, they can. So a breach, of course, you have let me just back up a little for those of you who may not know. On your title, you have certain conditions. Tell you what it can 10 feet away from the boundary, but instead of 10 feet, it's 8 feet away. Something like that is what we refer to as a breach. If you're getting a mortgage, the mortgage company will require that in your mortgage document, the bank will usually stick in a condition to say that if the seller does not do this, the bank will require you this, and you're just not realizing there is a breach, when your purchaser is pointing it out to you. You can't say to the purchaser, well, I didn't do it, it's not my responsibility. It is your responsibility. The purchaser says, you know what, and there are cases where you can negotiate. So let's $5,000 to take the money out of the court or to knock down a wall. You can negotiate like we do it with you or can. Getting a mortgage, please get your pre-approval. It already had your current documents, your pay slips, all your approval from 2-3 years ago, because that would have already expired. Usually they're valid for maybe, I think, 30 to 60 days. If my name alone is, can I ask that the money be sent to someone else when the sale is finished? You can. I've seen that happens frequently. But you have banks, a lot of people sometimes, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but there are unscrupulous people who try to launder money. So the banks are very strict when it comes to us as attorneys sending money to clients, especially when we're doing international transfers. So if I'm doing a sale and the John Brown is selling and he wants to send the money to someone else, let's say his daughter or his wife, the bank will ask for additional documents to show why he wants to send this money to someone else. Usually it's like a notarized letter, but you have to be very careful. So as attorneys especially, please be very careful. For persons who are selling your property, especially for older persons, I know you have persons who you say you trust, but be very careful. I'm very careful. If someone asks me to send money in someone else's name, I generally don't do it. I'll wait until the person calls. Because persons are, like I said, they're unscrupulous, they take advantage of persons. So yes, you can send some money to someone else, but don't just think that because you're not in Jamaica, that you have to send it to someone else who's in Jamaica. No, we can transfer. Always better to receive the money in your name. If you do something else with the money once it gets to your account, that's up to you. But please be very careful when receiving money. Thanks as always for tuning in to this episode of Land Solutions. Feel free to continue sending your messages. Feel free to call us, Brown Finley and Company. The number is 876-908-1950. You may send us an email, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. And thanks as always to Dervan and the team of Power 106. I've been your host for today, Calicia Finley. Take care.
Importers provide
Is the
proper
service
invoices
back?
for customs when presenting
Is the
goods
service
for
back?
examination.
Internet.
Isratech Jamaica Limited is excited to announce it has opened its second superstore at our head office in Kendal, Manchester. With this latest expansion, Isratech has branched out to offer a wider variety of products. Everything agriculture, everything water, everything energy and home and garden hardware, everything for your home, garden and business under one roof. Visit Lot 2, Kendal Shooters Hill, Mandeville. Call 876-603-3568 or visit isratech.com.
Renovators, homeowners, contractors, fixer-uppers, do-it-yourselfers. It's a construction reduction at the Home and Things Pro Savings Sales event. Warning! The prices are dangerously low. Get the lowest prices on tiles, bathroom fixtures and faucets, windows and doors, and so much more, including new arrivals. So shop now for everything you need for your project. It's the Pro Savings. Don't detour. Come down to Home and
Text line, please.
With a smile on her face, our children for see. Oh, ungrateful children. When she was young, she was beautiful and strong. Yeah. The more children she had, the more things went wrong. now she's feeling old and cold.
Beautiful Mother Nature, Ziggy Marley, and the Melody Makers on the heels of yesterday's World Environment Day observation. This is World Environmental Week here in Jamaica, and we will say some more on that a little later on. But we're kicking off a series today, just making sure that we keep you abreast right here on Jamaica's number one diaspora radio station, Power 106 FM. We're delighted to have joining us at this time the Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator the Honorable Leslie Campbell. Good afternoon to you, Minister. How are you? Senator Campbell, are you there? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, there you are. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
On both sides of the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. So we've been seeing the multiplicity of messages and postings here and there, and one gets the feeling that there is a buzz and there's an energy that is building towards the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference. Senator Campbell, what makes this conference so different, so special, so unique?
I'm very happy that you have identified that it is special. well, this is coming out of the 2 years when we weren't able to, the pandemic really intervened and did us a little wrong, if I may say so. But we're using that wrong which it did us to pivot and to come back from a different angle. Last year, as you know, that we had the symposium.
Yes.
When the conference ought to have been held. So this year we are not yet out of the pandemic, but we're trying to engage as many as our diasporans as we possibly can, and that means reaching out to the traditional plus the non-traditional areas. The Asia Pacific. We have diasporans in Australia. We have them in Japan, in China, all over, in Malaysia, just about everywhere. And plus in that, what we've been trying to do is to capture all of those persons who reside in these different jurisdictions. And so we had a series of 7 or 8 satellite briefings, just to bring people, and we just want to debunk that. Yes. We really want to show our diasporans what a unique opportunity it is for them to partner with us, to benefit from all that. Reigniting, as the phrase, as
the theme.
The phrase.
Yes.
Yes. We're reigniting. And when you're doing that, we really want people to catch the fire, as it were,
yes.
to look at what we're doing and say, how can I participate? How can I really benefit from? Because we have other people who are coming in, other diasporans, and not sufficiently together. They're not making use of the opportunities which are available. And so it is for that reason, and plus more. Of course, we need the help, the intellectual capacity which resides outside of Jamaica to be able to help us to. They have the know-how, they have the understanding of how to do things. The things that we are embarking upon, and so we really want to get them participating and benefiting from what we're doing.
And hence it's a case of no one not wanting anyone to be left behind. So you have what you call a hybrid Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference, where you have those who are physically on location as well as those in cyberspace.
Yes, we're targeting somewhere in the region of 5,000 participants over the 3 days of conference.
Yes.
We can't accommodate more than 100 on each day of the conference. So
for face-to-face?
For face-to-face. So
right.
Those persons will be with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you those places have already been taken.
I can just imagine.
Yes. So, but the conference will be no less, in terms of the output, because you're not here. And this year we've made it free. The participation is free this year because we recognize that it's a special year for us.
Those names again, because clearly you still have bills to pay. You still have to take care of.
The mistaken impression that it would cost significantly less than when we're having the physical conference.
Yes.
But that is not the case at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just to setting up the platform and getting all the technical people involved, it does cost a pretty penny. And with people, they've come on board in a very significant way, yes. and we're so grateful to all of them for coming on board, and I'm really enthused how the level of participation which is anticipated. We have a number of persons in the commercial world who have booked spaces, and so we're grateful to that, and so we really want to highlight how important it is for them to participate, to make use of all that we have available. And this year, our headliner this year.
I saw that. Go ahead, though. Tell us.
That is the Vice President of Microsoft, Miss Jackie Wright, who will be delivering her the main.
I thought you were going to say, who just happens to be Jamaican.
I'm a member of a diaspora, let me put it that way. And she, while she grew up in the UK, she is the vice president for Microsoft, who is based in the United States of America presently.
Yes.
And that's significant for us when we have people like that who can lend us the talent, and she's committed to being here, and everything is booked for her to be here, and so I'm really enthusiastic about the whole thing, and very excited for her and for members of the diaspora who will benefit from what she will deliver on the morning of the 14th.
And let's give you an opportunity now to speak to those in the diaspora listening to us. Why should they bother? And not just those in the diaspora, because it's Jamaicans at home and abroad who have an interest in this Jamaica